specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. I hope you all had a great long weekend. I forgot that it was a long weekend on Friday. So you can tell I was pretty excited to know, oh, it was a good long weekend for me. What did I do? All I did was study AI, to be honest. That's what I did this long weekend. However, the month of legends has officially begun with an amazing start in Cayman. So Friday, May 1st was 345 Day. And then we had Junior Badabanu in town on Saturday, and that looked absolutely amazing. I loved seeing the videos and the pictures of the costumes and people showing their appreciation to Reba Dilbert, because there was one school that did their costumes in recognition of all the designs and participation she has had in Carnival and other cultural events in Cayman through the years. And so that was Junior Badabanu on a Saturday. And Juve took place in the early hours of Monday, which I like that Juve happens, and then it's Emancipation Day, because when you know Juve and you know the roots of Juve, it folding into Emancipation Day just aligns perfectly. So there was a lot more festivities and fireworks on Seafarers Way yesterday, so I hope you all enjoyed it. My dog, after 10 years, suddenly developed a fear of fireworks. So that was interesting. But that was the weekend, so I hope it was a great long weekend for everybody else out there. And again, all I did was study AI, because what did we say last week or the other week? AI is not going to take over your jobs, but the humans using AI will. That is what my guest Lucia Gallardo said, and that is a phrase that I'm running with. So today is Cinco de Mayo, which this year falls on Taco Tuesday. So if you are thinking about what to have for lunch or dinner, you know what to do. But today on The Buzz, we are spotlighting the CaribDA 2026 Biennial Conference. It's a gathering that unites the Caribbean's leading water professionals and agencies working to secure safe, reliable drinking water for our region. And some of y'all might think, what does this really matter? Like, why do we care? Well, we are very privileged to even have that train of thought, because if you've ever traveled somewhere, there's a little neighbor right to the north of us. If you've ever traveled somewhere and you can't drink the water and you accidentally do, you know why potable water is very, very, very important for a country. So this year's conference zeroes in on desalination, water use, and building stronger water resilience across island nations. We'll look at why it matters and what Cayman can expect. Joining us are Karlene Singh, Manager of Strategic Execution at Consolidated Water Company and President of CaribDA. Is it CaribDA or CaribDA? And then hopefully we're going to have Edlyn and Ruiz Stoll from Water Authority join us a little bit later in the show. But good morning, Karlene. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
It's good to have you. I'm like, why can't I hear you on the mic? I think you got to move the mic over.
Sure.
Oh, there we go. All right,
yeah,
there you go.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So is it CaribDA or CaribDA?
Oh, we say CaribDA.
CaribDA. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was saying it wrong.
No, that's fine. Some people do say CaribDA, but
I like CaribDA a lot
short.
better. Sounds a lot better. Flow is better. My bad for not getting
No worries.
the right way how to say it at the beginning. Okay, so for listeners who may not know, which includes me, what exactly is the Caribbean Desalination Association, CaribDA?
So it is actually a nonprofit registered in Curacao. It was initiated in 2008 by Humphrey Gouverneur and Manuel Pereira, who work at Aquelectra in Curacao. Curacao actually, in 2 years from now, they're celebrating 100 years of desalination. And so they're sort of, initiators in the Caribbean region, you could say, for desalination. And so they thought it was important to have an association that would promote the use of desalination and water reuse throughout the Caribbean. And as you know, there are certain islands, we take it, you hit on the right point. We take water for granted.
Yes.
Here in Cayman. We're not affected by drought. We have limited freshwater resources, but because the island is supplied 100% by desalination, we do end up taking potable water for granted, versus our neighbors who are still struggling to have a reliable supply of fresh water, fresh drinking water and things like that. So, desal is a very good option. And so we do want to learn more about that and continue to educate.
What do we mean by desalination? Because that's not a term that I ever use unless I'm really, I guess, talking about water. So
it is taking seawater and turning it to potable drinking water. So you could do it two ways. You could take it from the ocean directly, but then you'd have, marine life, biological material to deal with, and sand and other things as well. But in Cayman, we're very blessed. We drill wells which extract seawater in its pure state, in that there's no turbulence, so it's relatively clean, and that helps us to keep costs down, actually, because there's less cleaning to do or less pretreatment to do. It is the conversion of seawater to drinking water. The technology used more commonly these days is called seawater reverse osmosis desalination.
Okay.
Versus thermal desalination, where you boil the water, you collect the vapor and then condense it. That's how it used to be. It was prevalent.
Okay.
Curacao did that back in the day. So these energy recovery devices were developed and tested right here on Cayman back in the 80s. And with those devices, they were called the dual work exchanger energy recovery device that helped to basically reuse energy, so that you didn't have to have, because with the reverse osmosis, you're basically pushing the pure water out of the seawater through a membrane. And you need very high pressure to do that, because water tends to want to go from a low concentrate to a high concentrate, but you're doing the opposite. So you have to overcome that osmotic pressure, you call it, to get that pure water. So with this energy exchanger device, or pressure exchanger device, it minimizes the energy required. So it's more prevalent. That technology is more prevalent now.
Okay, interesting. And we're definitely getting technical here. I'm like, trying to keep up with it. Just joining us in studio, I'd like to also welcome Edlyn Ruiz Stoll, Corporate Communications Supervisor at the Water Authority Cayman. How are you doing, Edlyn?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
It's good to have you. I don't think we've sat in an interview before, but I've known you in years doing
we have
communications, broadcasting, all sorts of stuff. You were a TV host.
Yes, many moons ago.
Yes, you're very used to being in this kind of chair, for sure. So welcome to the Buzz.
Thank you again.
And we were just getting started. Karlene let us know what CaribDA is all about. Mm-hmm. Who are the members of CaribDA? That's what I got asked next, because then I had to ask, what is desalination all about, because I'm not particularly familiar with it. So who are the members of CaribDA, and what agencies and professionals are involved?
It's quite a wide range, to be honest. There's utility companies like Cayman Water Authority as well. Karlene, you can give insight to other folks that are involved as well.
So the desalination technology, as I mentioned, or to build a desalination plant, you have a whole host of equipment that has to go into there. And so a lot of the members are the vendors that supply the equipment for the desalination plants. So the pump manufacturers, the membrane companies, that's where the heart of it is, that, where the water is filtered, pressure vessels, instrumentation, controls, well drilling. In fact, we have a well drilling team that's joining us this year. Just all of the different components that's required to build a plant. Those vendors are very supportive of the Desalination Association. We also have academics. Mm-hmm. They're also highly involved and contribute quite a lot. And then there's companies who, like Consolidated as well, not just on the utility side, but design, build, and operate the desalination plants. You'd have a number of those companies present as well, because they're the ones that get into contract with governments and hotels and other agencies to build the desalination plants. Are we missing anyone else? I'm sure there's...
I want to say we probably are, but I think that's a pretty good overview of the different members that are part of the organization.
And companies that do new things as well. There's some that take a different angle, not just reverse osmosis desalination. They utilize other
methods,
or
of making it possible,
or getting the energy from other methods, I should say.
Okay,
like
that will confuse me even more.
It it is quite
renewables,
technical, but it is something that's very interesting to learn. I mean, I know I took it for granted before I started working at the Water Authority, so it's been quite an education for me. However many years now I've been there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is it, I guess, regulated in any way? Is there certain standards that globally all kind of desalination plants have to meet, or regionally, or no?
It's funny you say that, because recently a safety policy or safety standards were published, because you're dealing with high pressures, and obviously you want to ensure that you use best practice in your designs. But no, the key, I wouldn't say there's a standard, but the key goal of all designers is to minimize your energy, the energy usage.
Okay.
Because it's so expensive in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Especially
Unfortunately.
here in Cayman. And we're on the side of building the plants, but we run them as well. So, and materials, you choose your materials wisely, because you're in a corrosive environment. You're dealing with seawater as well.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, those are the key.
Okay. I like the fact that with the energy consumption, this is a big aim of what you're trying to do, or an energy preservation and reuse of energy, right?
So the reuse is actually, on the wastewater side.
Okay.
So, in Cayman, the Water Authority handles the wastewater treatment. In the Caribbean, on the whole, we don't do reuse so much, where you take the wastewater and you actually treat it enough so that it's pure enough to drink. Mm-hmm. So it's a full circle. Mm-hmm. So in other countries like Singapore, a few decades ago, they made it their mission to implement water reuse within their island. So 30% of their water comes straight from reuse, and they've educated the public into learning about, or accepting, because nobody wants to drink. It's called toilet to tap.
Right. The idea already, I'm I would think it's going to take a long time to convince my mind that this is okay.
Yeah. But reverse osmosis is such a powerful tool or technology that it really does clean the water to that condition where it would meet World Health Organization standards for drinking.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you asked about standards. I mean,
yeah.
That's really what you want to meet at the end of the day, right?
Of course.
Potable water standards.
I would hope so.
And that's certainly our standard here for the water that we produce, right? Like, we are ensuring that we're meeting World Health Organization standards for drinking water too. So.
And there's Water Authority deals with water reuse. Is that what?
So we are not toilet to tap. We
Yes.
don't. We our treatment process doesn't meet that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a process in which we get the effluent water, to a state where it can go back down into these deep wells, so that way it can go through the natural geology once again, and then enter into the water cycle through nature's process. But we do not have the toilet to tap implementation.
And some places, like in California, they don't do toilet to tap. They treat it so that it's back to drinking water quality, but then it's it's shared, it's deposited into another freshwater body, like a lake or a river.
Okay.
Gets mixed, so it gets back dirty where you can't drink it, and then it's processed again, just to break the stigma that it's going directly, in that circle.
It's interesting that all of these things are happening way in the background of something that's very natural for us to do, is just drinking water. And as we said, how for granted we do take that, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Okay, let's get into the conference, because that is what we are here to talk about. We have a conference. It's returning to Cayman. Mm-hmm. When, where, and what is this conference all about?
So it's all kicking off next week. Things actually start off with a pre-conference workshop on Monday, the 11th of May, and then we get into the program starting on Tuesday. That's the 12th of May, and then it runs straight through Thursday, the 14th. The 14th of May. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to, so many dates that we're working with. And it's going to be happening at the Marriott. And it's really exciting because it's returning again. It's been quite a number of years since it's been held in the Cayman Islands. So we're really excited to have it back.
And we had mentioned a little earlier that there's so many different partners that are part of this association, from manufacturing to other agencies, like other utility agencies that are part of the CaribDA Association. So we're looking at a lot of people coming to Cayman for this. Any estimate on the number of people that might be coming?
Usually we look at 100 to 150 delegates.
Good. Yeah, it's a lot.
That includes our
local
companies
as well.
Yeah, quite a bit from us, both entities.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the conference, how does it help strengthen water resilience across Cayman?
Well, Cayman, as I mentioned, it is already very resilient because we have 100% desalinated water. Right next door in Jamaica or other islands, they do suffer the effects of or feel the effects of drought on their islands if most of their drinking water comes from natural resources or rainfall that's dependent upon rainfall. So building resilience, really with desal, it makes you sort of independent of any amount of rainfall or drought conditions, things like that. You have your almost infinite supply, right, from the ocean. So yeah, it does. In the case of, as we've seen here on the island, in the case of hurricanes, and other big storms, our supply is virtually unaffected. We build for that. We experienced it. I mean, we weren't always, that resilient.
As resilient.
Yeah, but
we've grown with it.
We've definitely learned from 2004 to improve our resilience.
That's where we're at. Oh, we got to take a break. So let's take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to get into the schedule of the conference, the theme, knowing what some of the topics are and some of the speakers. All right?
Thank you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
It's time for Mother's Day savings at A.L. Thompson's. Enjoy great deals on all KitchenAid small appliances, including the Pure Power Blender, the iconic 5-quart stand mixer, and the versatile dual convection countertop oven with air fryer. Whether you're blending, baking, roasting, or air frying, let us help you make every meal simpler and every result better. Upgrade your kitchen with Mother's Day savings on KitchenAid small appliances now through May 9th at A.L. Thompson's.
Radio Cayman News.
The hits keep coming at the pump with another massive spike this week.
We can ensure that what is added locally is fair.
Announced a 3-phase plan to tackle soaring energy costs.
Government has put together an approximately $9 million relief package.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
7 days a week. The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are learning about the CaribDA 2026 Biennial Conference. And in studio with me, I have Karlene Singh, Manager of Strategic Execution at Consolidated Water Company and President of CaribDA, and Edlyn Ruiz Stoll. I feel like this is new to me, Stoll being added to the last name, by the way.
It's actually not that new, but it's been a while since folks have seen me. So yeah, hearing Stoll is probably new for quite a number of people.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Corporate Communications Supervisor at the Water Authority, Cayman. So let's get into the conference main objectives, if there's a theme, and then tell us what the schedule is.
So the theme this year is the nexus of water, energy, and environment, optimizing desalination and the reuse for regional resilience. So again, kind of coming back to those main themes that CaribDA is there for, resilience, reuse. So we're kind of bringing it all together for this particular conference.
And what's the schedule look like?
It's quite a full schedule. So as we mentioned before, things kick off with a pre-conference workshop.
Yes.
So that's kind of more of the practical side of things. A lot of the folks that kind of do the day-to-day operations are going to get a lot out of that particular session. And then we're going to actually kick things off with an opening ceremony on Tuesday morning. So we're going to have some dignitaries there present as well too, and just kind of welcoming our guests, our delegates, and really kind of kicking things off with that. And then from there, we get into a couple of different sessions. So we're going to start off with a utility panel. That's going to be one of the first features. So that actually includes representatives locally here with the utility companies. We've also got a representative, I want to say from Belize, right? We've also got the Department of Environment who's going to be present in that, CUC as well too. So that's going to be an interesting conversation to kind of get both the local perspective, but also the regional perspective, and then from agencies that aren't necessarily water agency, but who are stakeholders in terms of our ability to function as well. Some of the other discussion points will be overcoming operations and maintenance challenges, innovation and advances in desalination and reuse, wastewater reuse plant case studies and lessons learned, desalination cost optimization, because as we mentioned before, it is a costly operation. It does take a lot of energy. Desalination and reuse climate adaptation strategies, and then we've also got some facility tours that are also going to be taking place as well. So it's quite a wide scope of discussions that are going to be happening, and lots of lesson learned, some case studies that people are going to be able to learn from as well too. So
okay, and I understand we also have a keynote speaker.
That's right. We are very, very honored that our Honorable Minister Nicholas DaCosta will be serving as the keynote speaker for the opening ceremony. He's actually the minister with responsibility for Water Authority. So she certainly has an interest and stake in terms of the water industry here in the Cayman Islands. And I'm sure some people know he also used to be an employee for Water Authority as well.
I didn't know
too.
that.
Yeah, he was for many, many years. He was also on the board as well too. So he's got a long history with Water Authority. He understands the importance of the work of water utilities here in the Cayman Islands and across the region as well too. So he certainly got some personal insight and stake in this. So we're excited to have him be able to serve as our keynote speaker at the opening ceremony.
That is exciting. I had no idea that he worked at the Water Authority previously.
Yes.
So I like the alignment with that. So he'd be perfect, because now he's in a completely different position in understanding what he has to do to support Water Authority and why it's so important that we do keep our desalination process in Cayman going as smoothly as we are, and to have potable water in the Cayman Islands and keep us resilient.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is what we're doing.
And also Governor Jane Owen, she will also be joining us for the
Yes,
opening
she will
ceremony.
Be. Okay,
yes.
wonderful.
Yeah, we're looking forward to
She will be present. We're very happy to have her there as well.
Excellent. So we talked about some of the organizations that are going to be participating, but what about the professionals that come? What are the other attendees like that come? That make up that crowd that come there? What are the attendees?
So on the vendor side or the manufacturing side, there will be a lot of the sales representatives.
Okay.
So the exhibitors, there'll be an exhibit portion as well. So they'll be, representing there. Again, a few academics. We have invited, and of course, a lot of consultants on the desalination side and other professionals.
And also just locally too, a lot of the maintenance operators as well are going to be participating too.
It has been the goal of CaribDA to get more regional utilities involved in the organization, because we want to bridge the gap between the utilities and the manufacturers or the design builders of the plants and operators. So, that's one of our goals each year, is to keep bringing the groups together. And this year we have a good team, because both of us have a lot of hands-on staff that will be joining us, and they'll get to meet.
When you're saying you're trying to bridge the gap between the manufacturers and some of the utility providers, I guess what's kind of missing there is that the fact that they're just probably most of the manufacturers are far away, and you're just trying to establish a better communication process, or
because the operators and the utilities obviously are in the Caribbean, all the manufacturers are in the U.S. or international,
right?
So they don't have that opportunity, and we want to create that, that opening for them to meet. The operators get a chance to learn about the equipment, just talk about issues they might have with certain things. They'll get to get technical information. Other companies that design and build, they get to meet with utilities and say, look, this is what we provide. These are references and things like that. And they get to meet one-on-one, or at least in a setting where they could, get that exposure and discuss things with utilities.
Okay. All right. Now, I know that there's a bit of a cultural night as well planned. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so that we're excited about that as well too. Obviously, it's one of the exciting things for us is that because we get to host it here in the Cayman Islands, it's another opportunity for us to showcase our culture, what makes the Cayman Islands unique. So that's kind of what Culture Night is about. It's also kind of just a fun event for all the delegates who are taking part and the attendees, just to kind of relax, enjoy themselves. So it's going to be happening at I wanted to say Cayman the Turtle Center, but their new name is oh goodness, it's slipping me, but Cayman Turtle Center, I think everybody is familiar.
There was a certain
they've got a new, longer name now, but it's going to be taking place there.
They do?
They do. I feel terrible that I can't
Me too.
recall it right now, but
okay.
I think we're all quite familiar with Turtle Center.
That's where the cultural night
That's
was.
where it's going to be taking place, yeah. So that's, what's greater mascot for the Cayman Islands than a turtle?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Turtle Center, actually.
Yes, yeah. And we're going to be having musical displays as
Local
artisans. Yeah. We're going to have an opportunity to feature the Spotlight charity organization, which is the Case Foundation as well too. So we're going to have some games and activities for folks to actually participate in, so that way they can raise funds for the Case Foundation as well too. And it's just going to be a nice, relaxing night where people get to see a bit about the Cayman Islands and learn more about who we are.
Okay, you know what's going to happen at the turtle farm, right? If we do have a bunch of people that are in utilities and the water utilities, especially. Everybody's going to be looking at the ponds and the little seawater area that you can, they'll be looking at the process and being like, okay, how does this happen? That's exactly what's going to happen, which will be amazing.
Right. Yes,
it might be a sort of a free consult for the Turtle Center there, so I kind of like that for them. How does the conference, do you think, support future water professionals in Cayman and students?
Yeah, so at each conference we encourage students to attend. This year, we normally give out a student scholarship and an operator scholarship for them to be able to travel, because it's expensive for the students, obviously, to find the flight and accommodation money. But this year we decided to partner with UCCI. CaribDA has done a lot of work with UCCI for their STEM conferences. We usually have a booth and meet with the students. So we decided, well, this year let's sponsor 4 students from UCCI and one of the lecturers. So we did that. So we opened the door for more students to be able to participate. In previous conferences, we've also had a lot of student posters, and then not just posters but presentations as well from students. In the Bahamas 2 years ago, we had two they were students that were awarded, and they were able to come, and it's helped their careers as well.
Okay, I like that.
Oh, there's also a Young Leaders program, which we develop, and we try to liaise, with the universities and young professionals, not just students, but young professionals.
Okay, so is the Young Leaders program, is that like a pathway per se for those who might be interested in the industry?
Absolutely.
To kind of join, because I'm like, how do you become interested in this industry?
Right. So we do offer mentoring and internships. I did one mentoring with a student. It was interesting because she was in the U.S. and I was here, but we tried to connect every so often while she was doing her studies, and she is working in the U.S. now full time. But it is something we need to kick off more formally and have more involvement. So, but that is the pathway. Really, we encourage anybody, and including high school students as well, if they're interested in almost any aspect, but especially the engineers.
I like the path, that there is a pathway. I like that. Yeah. That's good.
I mean, on a more local front too, that's something that is of great interest for Water Authority as well, which is building up our new generation of water professionals, because it is an industry that needs new young professionals. It's aging. There's a lot of current operators who are getting ready to retire. So, and it's a really stable industry to work in. I'm sure there are a lot of young people out there who know they have an interest in STEM, but they're like, what am I going to do with that here in the Cayman Islands? Well, water industry is a path for you, because it's a needed area where we need people, especially like you were mentioning, the engineers, everyone in the STEM areas. And there's also different support roles as well too. But it's certainly something we encourage students to look into. We have our own outreach as well for the local students. But if you know somebody who's young, who has an interest in science and they don't know what path, put it in their ear. Yeah, put it in their ear that the water industry is certainly a worthwhile industry for them to get involved in, because, like I said, it's needed everywhere. It doesn't matter where in the world you go. We need water professionals, and you're providing an essential service, which is really, really important. It gives you purpose in the work that you do every day. So, yeah.
I like it.
Just kind of wanted to
No, it's a really good point
well,
to make, because if I mean, you work at the Water Authority, so you know that we do need a new generation of Caymanians to come in and step into these roles. And it's okay, how do we provide that pathway? How do we get them into it? So I think you've hit a really important point there. We got to come to the end of the show right now. So I was gonna ask another question, but we don't have enough time. So I guess just in wrapping, what do you want to leave listeners with, and if they need to get conference tickets, anything else like that?
Sure. Well, we are super excited for next week. We've been preparing for quite some time to make the event successful and memorable for everybody. Back in 2010, I really enjoyed it, and we got so much good feedback, or great feedback, that it was one of the best conferences ever when we both partnered.
Awesome.
And we're hoping for the same and even better this year. You could go on to CaribDA.com, CaribDA.com for registration. We're still open for registration. It's again at the Marriott Hotel, starting on Monday with the pre-conference and Tuesday. But we just want to invite everyone that's interested to make the effort to come.
If by chance you forget CaribDA when you're getting to your office, you can visit Water Authority pages or Cayman Water Facebook pages as well too. We've got links there as well, so you can always find it. If you're like, what's that water conference again?
Right.
I can find it through the local ones here. So just another thing to keep in mind there.
All right. Thank you, ladies, for joining me on The Buzz this morning. It was good to know what's going on in Cayman, how we are, I guess, progressing with the water industry. I like it. So best of luck with your conference next week. It'll be on my birthday, by the way. I'm just going to add that. So it'll be a great day for you. Thank you. It's like the best day of the year, so it's definitely going to be a great day. Those are the vibes that I'm giving you. We got to go to the 8 a.m. news right now. And then when I come back from the 8 a.m. news, I'm going to be talking about mental health, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So stick around to hear that discussion.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Karlene Fuller.
The government has received updated projections on inflation and cost of living.
New inflation forecasts show Cayman getting hit in the face of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Fielding a parliamentary question in the House on Friday, Finance Minister the Honorable Ralston Edlyn told MPs, given the, quote, fluidity of the situation in the Middle East, the Economics and Statistics Office has been advising government on potential impacts, with the most recent forecast prepared on April 22nd.
The latest projection for 2026 is higher than the 2.6% shown in the planned estimates. The updated forecasts indicate that headline inflation is expected to rise to approximately 5.3% in 2026 before easing to 4.1% in 2027. The anticipated increase in 2026 above previous projections is driven primarily by developments in global energy markets.
Mr. Edlyn says given Cayman's energy and food import dependence, this higher oil price is expected to, quote, quickly feed through the domestic economy in electricity, transport, and shipping costs.
The estimates also highlight that food prices are likely to contribute to upward pressure on cost of living. The IMF expects global food commodity prices to increase by 6% in 2026, and the World Bank's Food Price Index has already increased by 5.1% year on year as of March 2026.
As the conflict in the Middle East remains ongoing, the exact magnitude of the effects, quote, remain uncertain. Mr. Edlyn says to address these pressures, government is actively reviewing measures to address the impact of the rising costs on residents. Health officials issue further warnings for whooping cough in Grand Cayman, as well as a new outbreak of gastroenteritis in Cayman Brac after cases are clocked in local schools.
The Ministry of Health and the Public Health Department are actively monitoring two situations at the moment. In Grand Cayman, we have had additional confirmed cases of whooping cough, which is affecting the community and multiple schools. In Cayman Brac, we are monitoring an outbreak of gastroenteritis, where we have identified cases in educational settings and across the wider Brac community.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hilary Wolf tells Radio Cayman parents and staff of the impacted schools have been notified directly. However, it is, quote, likely there may be other cases that have not yet been diagnosed. Medical Officer of Health Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez.
Parents across all islands, but particularly those in Grand Cayman, are strongly encouraged to ensure that their children's vaccinations are up to date. Parents of children who are due or overdue for the DTaP or Tdap vaccine, which protects against whooping cough, should utilize the school vaccination clinics or contact the public health department for an appointment.
In addition to vaccinations, you're encouraged to wash your hands with soap and water and keep your kids or yourself home if you spot symptoms. The Health Services Authority is also marking International Day of the Midwifery, hosting its inaugural Midwifery Symposium today under the global theme, 1 Million More Midwives. Here's Radio Cayman's Dion Edlyn.
Observed worldwide, the day recognizes the role midwives play in safeguarding maternal and newborn health, while calling on governments, policymakers, and health leaders to address a, quote, critical global workforce shortage. According to the International Confederation of Midwives, the global shortfall of approximately 1 million midwives represents a gap in maternal and newborn care, and the HSA says addressing this global deficit could prevent an estimated 67% of maternal deaths, 64% of newborn deaths, and 65% of stillbirths, amounting to more than 4.3 million lives saved by 2035. Symposium will bring attention to the, quote, expertise and impact of midwives locally, while aligning with global advocacy efforts to strengthen the profession. Presentations will cover topics such as preparing for pregnancy, antenatal care, supporting safe births, and how midwives and obstetricians collaborate for safer motherhood. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
It's taking place today at the Hibiscus Conference Room at the hospital through 3 p.m. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karlene Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. There are increasing fears of hostilities resuming in the Gulf after Washington tried to force open the Strait of Hormuz for commercial shipping. Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has warned that breaches of the 4-week-old ceasefire by the US and its allies had endangered shipping. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Ministry of Education and Training invites eligible Caymanians to apply for a local scholarship for the 2026-2027 academic year. If you haven't applied yet, you still have time. The deadline has been extended to Sunday, 31st of May, 2026. To apply or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit www.moescholarships.gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Training.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 83 degrees. Relative humidity is 88%. The barometric pressure is 29.93 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate a stationary front across the tip of Florida will slowly dissipate. The accompanied moisture coupled with daytime heating may bring some showers during the afternoon. As the ridge begins to build, winds are forecast to gradually increase by late this evening. Satellite imagery shows some low-level clouds to the south of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and mainly high-level clouds over Grand Cayman. Forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers this afternoon, and temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index near 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Forecast for tonight calling for mainly fair skies with a low chance of showers and temperatures dipping to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. High tide will be this morning at 10:45, low tide this evening at 5:25, and the sun will set this evening at 6:48 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:55. And the outlook is calling for a ridge of high pressure to rebuild across the Caribbean as the frontal boundary decay, allowing for moderate winds and a decrease in chance of shower activity. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy.
Janelle? From spring break, oh wait?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Brit K. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit K, where people come first.
Get ready to ride for a cause. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents Ride for Sight, Sunday, May 31st at 10 a.m. Join your community at the Cayman Turtle Center and cruise through the scenic route to Lower Valley. And it's more than just a ride. Enjoy refreshments after the event and know that every mile helps the Lions Sights program and the LCIF Foundation. Make a real difference in the community. Sponsored by Cayman Distributors and the Cayman Turtle Center. For more info, call 916-7634. That's 916-7634. Don't miss out. Ride for a cause. Ride for sight.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's check in with traffic, see what's slowing, what's flowing. Further up on Shamrock Road, traffic is moving at a moderate pace. Further down, little different stories. Traffic a little steadier as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway. Slow-moving traffic on Cool Road and steady traffic coming off of Agnes Way and Bobby Thompson Way and continuing on to Huldah Avenue. Taking a look at the West Bay area, West Bay 4-way stop flowing pretty good. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And bringing you back to town, North Sound Road, moderate flow in both directions as well. And the Industrial Park area flowing at a good pace. If you've seen accidents or incidents, let us know by calling us at 949-6990. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Have a good morning and drive safe.
Start your year off right with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. 4 protein-packed subs with 20 grams or more protein, under 500 calories, and loaded with full servings of crisp veggies on hearty multi-grain bread. Try the grilled chicken and avocado, the ham and turkey stacker, the seasoned steak and avocado, or the turkey and ranch delight. Big flavor, plenty of protein, and fresh veggies in every bite. Fuel your day the Fresh Fit way. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. In this segment, we're going to be talking about mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and today's conversation affects more of us than we may realize. Globally, the World Health Organization says mental health conditions affect 1 in 8 people. But in Cayman, that number is a bit more. Recent data from the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey suggests that around 1 in 5 adults in the Cayman Islands are experiencing symptoms of depression, with anxiety also on the rise. And I can tell you, I am one of them. When it comes to our youth, the depression rate for Cayman youth is 4 times higher than the average global rate. Research presented at the 2025 Mental Health Symposium found that Cayman's adverse childhood experience rate among young people is 3 times higher than global figures, meaning children in the Cayman Islands experience significantly more trauma than the global data typically reflects. So what's really going on, and why is depression and anxiety on the rise? Here to talk to us about this is Sutton Burke of Infinite Mindcare. So good morning, Sutton. She's no stranger to the show. I've had her on before, and I was like, we're going to have this discussion, and I know I want Sutton back. So good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
It is. It's good to have you, and I'm just saw you a couple weeks ago at the Fashion Week Gala. You looked amazing, by the way. You looked great. You were absolutely in fashion.
The one time I could wear that dress for the fashion show, as did you.
And you wore it. Yes. You wore that dress. Certainly did. And it was there. I was like, Sutton, I got to have you back. And you reminded me, well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, Kathy. Let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah.
It's good to have you. So give a bit of an introduction to people who might not know you, who you are, what you do at Infinite Mindcare.
Great. Thank you. So I'm Sutton Burke. I am a therapist by trade. I am the founder and clinical director of Infinite Mindcare, which is an outpatient counseling service on island, and we work with kids, teens, adults, all doing counseling. We also have a drug and alcohol treatment program. We work with first responders. We do a lot of stuff for corporate. We also have a ketamine psychotherapy assisted program, and we do all sorts of stuff, neurofeedback, all sorts of good stuff to support people's mental health.
And one day we're going to get into more of, especially the ketamine treatment, the neurofeedback. I want to talk about those treatments in depth one day.
Yep.
One day. So I'm just planting that seed in your head.
Absolutely. Alternative treatments, supplements to add on to counseling. It's quite incredible.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with you on that. So definitely something that I think that we should learn about more, but that'll be another conversation another day.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about Mental Health Awareness Month today. So let's start at the beginning. What is the difference between mental health and mental illness, and why is that distinction important to me?
I love this question. So first of all, we all have mental health, just like we have physical health. It's so interesting. I was going to ask you before, I don't know if there's a physical health month. We have to have this special month for mental health because people just deny the fact that we actually have mental health just like we have physical health. So everyone has mental health. We all have things that we have to work through. We all have, our past, our histories with our family, how our family has impacted us, the way that we communicate and connect with others, the different things that as we go along our days that impact us internally, our internal experience. Mental illness is something different. 1 in 4 people, as you said, will experience a mental illness, a diagnosis for their mental health in their lifetime. Just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean that's going to last forever. Some are more persistent than others. And mental illness is when it's going to impact your daily functioning. Okay, when it's maybe going to prevent you from functioning as normal. Certainly, in our mental health, we'll struggle at different times in our mental health. Sometimes we're in a really good place mentally and not other times, and that does impact our day. But someone with a mental illness, it's going to be impacting their functioning for a longer period of time.
Okay. You said a question that I was like, I'm going to ask right out of this. And of course, I forgot right away because that's how my mind works. But I'm going to get back to that question that was in my mind. But that was a really good breakdown. But you said something about being like a normal kind of mental health. What does functioning normal in your day-to-day life look like?
Yeah. I mean, that you're able to wake up and, get dressed and go into your work and be with your family, and you're able to function and get done what you need to get done for the day. Now, of course, we all have our, you were talking about your experiences with depression and how different things impact you. We can all struggle with our mental health at different times of the day, during weeks, months, but that doesn't mean that we have a mental illness. This is normal impact on our mental health. This is just normal dealing with our families, dealing with our kids. I love I always talk about this. I love my children. They are my world. My whole life would feel like it would be over if I didn't have them. They drive me up the wall, right? It is not easy being a parent, and I struggle at times managing my frustration when I'm parenting, having to relax myself. And sometimes I do better than other times, right? That impacts my, mental health on a regular basis. Or actually, when my mental health is not as strong, parenting becomes harder. We have sleep issues, right? Not everyone is the greatest sleeper. I always ask this question, and really, I would say 90% of the people who call our office are struggling with sleep in some way. When you don't sleep well, that impacts your mental health, how present you are, how you're able to regulate your emotions. So, we all have mental health, and it's how do we build this capacity to be in life? It's not easy.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something as well. You're a mother. You run a business. You're on some boards. You're pretty active with your fitness, with your physical health. You take care of that as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on in your life. To me, you sound like a bit of a high performer, which is a great thing. Nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to people who do perform really, really high in their life, and they might not notice that they're struggling as much, I guess what are the signs there that, okay, something might not be right here?
So I think this is something that I talk about a lot. And with being a high performer, I'm also what's called a maximizer, where I try to get a lot in. And sometimes that really negatively impacts me, where I put too much on my calendar, too much on my schedule. I, think that I can achieve too much. And then that impacts me, where I become overwhelmed, where I'm exhausted, where, that I want to cancel everything. And it's too much. And, there are lots of signs, and it's, that low frustration tolerance that might come out, the impact on your sleep, the wanting to isolate a bit more. I'm doing some writing right now for a book that I've been working on for a little over a year, and I'm sending it to my friends, and they're really surprised with some of the things that they're reading, because they feel like, I'm emotional Teflon, that because I'm a high performer, I'd be able to handle everything. No, I'm a human just like everybody else. Even someone who is a high performer, who has done all the therapy, all the work, we still struggle, because this is a human experience. And that's the idea with the stigma that comes with talking about mental health, is people think that if we talk about mental health, if we say we've had a hard day, or I'm going through something tough, there's something going on in my family, I've experienced grief and loss, or, some kind of relationship issue is happening, that if people heard, they would judge me. Right? They would think lesser of me because I'm not perfect, because I can't, handle everything how they might assume. And that's just not the case. We're all human beings, and we're, allowed to be struggling at times. We're allowed to be trying to make our way. Talking about it really helps, not pretending it doesn't exist.
We also live in a society, and I think this is almost globally, or at least in developed nations, that staying really busy is something that we're kind of supposed to be doing. Like if you're not busy, if your calendar's not packed, if you sit down for an hour a day and watch TV or just relax and do nothing, I mean, how unproductive and lazy are you? There's almost that thought in society that you've got to stay busy. How damaging is that to us? Absolutely. And there's we talk about the busy badge, right? Like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm so busy. Yeah. Right. And it is important, we're only in this life once, and we want to make the best of it. Connecting to your mission, connecting to your purpose in life, your values is so important. What do you want to give in this life? What do you want to get out of this life? When you look back at your life at the end of the years, what do you want to say that you did? And for me, I always want to I want to get it right, and that's some OCD symptoms there of getting it right, maximizing, living life to the fullest. And we're allowed to rest. Rest is so important for our physical health, we know, and for our mental health. And I think it's the intention behind it. Are you resting? Are you giving yourself grace and self-compassion when you're resting? Or are you isolating and hiding from the world? Right. And there is a difference in that. I do it together. Does that make sense? Right. Yes, absolutely. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we need that. We need that day to hide. You need your rest, but also I'm overwhelmed and I need some time. And then it's, how long are you giving yourself? Is this becoming the daily habit? When we talk about watching TV, for example, okay, you're allowed to watch TV. You're allowed to have some enjoyment. And if you find joy in watching TV, that's amazing. But are your days and evenings filled with scrolling your phone, just watching TV, and it's days turns into nights, turns into weeks, turns into months? Now you're not engaging. You're not socially connecting with anybody, which is so important for the human experience, for our psyche, for our spirit. You're not connecting with nature. You're not connecting with God. So it's that balance. And when you having that insight, so when you're saying how does someone know, it's how often do you stop to just be with yourself and connect with yourself internally and ask yourself those questions, or
sit in silence, sit in, talking to the creator, like listening, right? For some answers versus staying busy or staying distracted with TV, with music, with scrolling, whatever it is, where you don't give yourself a chance to understand yourself and know yourself and think about, why are we in this world?
I love it. This is why I do paddleboard yogas, because it's that meditation that you're just out there in the water and it's completely quiet. And yes, I'm waiting for the rest of the class to come, but I can't even describe the moment of peace that I get, just the clarity and really just that peace, just that good feeling that's out there. You also said something that I think is really important, because remember, you at the beginning, you said we don't have a month where we're looking at our physical health.
Mm-hmm.
And we know, especially if you're working out too much or you're just, on the weekend I joined the gym again after 8 months or so of not being in it. It was a long time. And I know I went a lot lighter on the weights and even did less of the exercise I would do, but it's 3 days later and I can still barely move.
Mm-hmm.
My body needs to rest and recover. I was going to go back to the gym yesterday. No, I can't. I need to rest and recover.
Yeah.
We need to do the same with our minds.
Sure. And that's you listening to your body too. So movement is so important for our mental health.
Yeah.
That's huge. And we know that depression rates get cut in half with exercise. And that's something that most people don't want to hear when you're feeling depressed, because when you're feeling depressed, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to get out of bed. Of course, I don't want to go to the gym when I'm feeling depressed, but actually it's that's the antidote. It's the exercise that's the medicine. It's being outside that's the medicine. But when you're in your depression, when you're in your mind, or the chaos of your mind, the falseness of your thoughts, right? That becomes your reality, and then you don't want to do that which is going to make you feel better. And that's why in DBT we have a skill that's called opposite action. So DBT is a therapeutic modality.
Thank you.
And one of the things that they teach as a tool in distress tolerance is opposite action. So when you're in your depression, you want to isolate, you want to just be insular and be tucked away. And that's not going to help you. And so it's like, that's your instinct, but what's opposite action of that? Okay, I'm going to get up. And maybe it's just for 1 minute or 2 minutes we give ourselves grace. We're going to go exercise. Okay, you're starting back at the gym. Let's not overdo it. Let's go lighter on the weights. But that does make so much of a difference. And certainly that, again, the gut health is so connected to our mental health. We know that there's this other brain in our stomach, and that has so many hormones and all sorts of stuff going on there. And it's directly correlated to how we feel.
And that's a subject that I still have not yet began to uncover, but I know there's a relationship that's happening there for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so according to the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey, about 1 in 5 adults in Cayman show symptoms of depression. Does that align with what you're seeing in your practice?
Sure. We keep seeing more and more people coming in, and there is just a heavier feel overall, that people are really impacted by the world around them, right? But also I think as we break this stigma of mental health and mental illness, and that more people are aware that they do have mental health and it's important to take care of it, that they start to notice things inside of themselves and inside of their families and their everyday life where they're more willing to talk about it. And I think that's where we see the number rising. And yeah, I mean, here in Cayman, we are this little bubble. I call it my little bubble of paradise and safety. But, we're not immune to things going on in the outside world. And certainly I was hearing about inflation before I got on today. And, all those things have a really big impact on everyone, and impact in their families and their work.
Yeah, there's a couple questions I have regarding that when it comes to lifestyle and how it relates to depression a little bit later on in the conversation. But I'm glad you touched on that, because it's definitely a huge contributor to how we're feeling pretty much, and we don't have much control over.
Sure. I also think what's really important is, how people understand the emotional capacity. And I think when we think about these things of, dealing with anxiety and depression, now with social media, first of all, social media has drastically increased the correlation in anxiety and depression and the rise, because people are seeing how other people are supposedly living all around the world when you would have no idea, people who have way more than you or less than you, what the relationships are supposedly like, although, we know that most people are only posting their best day,
right?
Their best side of their face, the perfect lighting. But when we start comparing ourselves to other people and other people's experiences, it certainly has a huge impact on us. But I want to talk about emotional capacity, which is that we are way more capable of handling things than we allow ourselves to think. So we start to feel certain ways, and again, it could be impacted by our hormones as well, and different things happening inside of our body, different chemicals going on in our brain. But when we start living our life and we start to maybe process things from a past or things that are going on, it's like we think that we're not capable of handling it. And the message that I have for everyone is that we are capable of handling it, and we have to build that emotional capacity. And we do that by not avoiding, by sitting in the feeling, by noticing the feeling. So often we start to have these feelings come on, and we feel like we can't take it. It's too much for us. It's just too much for us to handle. And we start to play that loop of thoughts that bring us deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole. And the reality is that we are capable of handling it. It's not easy. It's really, really, really hard to sit with discomfort. And sitting with it is going to allow us to really build that emotional capacity to be able to handle whatever life throws at us.
So I just want to repeat that phrase you said, that we think we're not able to handle things, but we are.
Yeah.
Right? But I guess we feel that we can't handle it. So
Yeah.
we might think we can do it, but it's almost like our emotions are much stronger. Like, no, I feel differently to what I'm thinking, and then there's the imbalance there.
Well, we're talking about a few different things, right? We're talking about thoughting, the thoughts that are going on in our head, and then we're talking about bodily sensations. So often, one wakes up in the morning and we get, you're someone experiencing anxiety or depression, you get hit with this energy inside of your body, these sensations that feel horrible, that feel icky, sticky, just like you want to get it out of you, right? And you want to take action. And we don't always have to take action, but it feels that way. It feels like those feelings shouldn't be there, right? And they could scare you. They could just make you feel miserable, right? And so you on top of that, you have the thoughting going on. And another important distinction is to know that you are not your thoughts. Right?
Oh, gosh.
We have a mind. We have thoughts. We have bodily sensations and horrible feelings. But that is not who you are as a person, right? And then it goes the next step further is who are you as a person then? And are you your mind? Are you your body? Or are you the makeup of all of these things? And where does your soul come into play? So I always say, I'm the, who am I? Am I the voice in my head that sounds like me, right? But am I the voice, or am I the listener of the voice? I hear that voice. I'm the observer, my wise mind, my self, all different terms we have in different therapeutic modalities, and then certainly in religion and spirituality, my soul self is the listener, is the observer. And when I could think about it in terms of that, then I can start to notice these thoughts, notice these feelings, these sensations in my body with just a little more distance, just a little bit more. That is not who I am. I can feel it. I might not be able to like it, but then, now I can play with it of, what to do. And certainly that's what we do in a therapy room, but that's what people can be practicing at home as well.
Are you finding that people are disconnected from who they are? They don't know who they are?
Sometimes, yeah. Certainly. We have people, in our offices, all the therapists and I, we always talk, we love everyone that comes in. I've never had a client that I don't like. People, I love human beings. People are so likable, and people are, could have great insight, but then we also lack insight too. And then we can have the greatest insight without action. You can who you are and still do nothing with it. But yeah, not everyone's thinking about it in terms. I'm always interested when I do a workshop and someone says, oh, I never thought about it like that. I don't really often think about who I am and, my purpose, my mission. And, I think that I'm so grateful to live in Cayman as a Christian society where, religion plays such a large role here, where in, religious organizations, there is that conversation. There should be the conversation. And I think also coming from a place in Cayman, like there's so much religious trauma here where it didn't always present itself as something positive to be thinking about those things. But for the most part, I think that is the beautiful thing about religion, is it starts to get you to think about who am I? Why am I in the world? And being able to, really have a purpose and a mission and to understand what we all share.
I like how you frame that. We got to take a commercial break right now. I'm quite late for the break. That's how the conversation goes sometimes. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Water Authority Cayman would like to advise its valued customers that its customer service office in Cayman Brac will close for the day on Friday the 8th of May to facilitate its customer appreciation event. The event will take place at the Aston Rennie Civic Centre from 10:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. The Cayman Brac Operations Facility will be manned by essential staff. As such, there will be only emergency deliveries on Friday. Truck water customers in Cayman Brac are encouraged to plan ahead and make your truck water orders in advance. The office will reopen with usual hours on Monday, the 11th of May. The authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates your understanding.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it.
Grow your business with Breeze 105.3 FM and Radio Cayman. From spot packages to full campaigns, we've got rates that fit your budget and your goals. Email our sales team today, rcsales@gov.ky. That's rcsales@gov.ky. Let's get your message on air and reach listeners who trust us every day.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is this month, May, the best month of the year, of course. And in studio with me, I have Sutton Burke of Infinite Mindcare. We're having a great discussion so far, and I like how it's going. I love having you on, Sutton. There was a consultant, a clinical consultant psychologist presenting at a 2025 Cayman Mental Health Symposium that noted that the diagnosis rate for depression among young people in Cayman is 4.6% compared to the global rate of approximately 1.1%, which is roughly 4 times higher. Cayman is also about 2% above the global rate for youth anxiety diagnoses. So what are you seeing when it comes to youth and well-being? Are we getting worse or is it getting better in Cayman?
You know, I have a few things about the statistics. Certainly, we are so lucky that Cayman is so small that they're able to gather a lot more information from more of our youth. But what we're noticing is these changes in society and, you know, the social media, I mean, there is a direct correlation with this increase in social media. And last year I did a big school tour because also with that statistics with depression, what we learned was the rate of suicidality is higher here in Cayman. And certainly that's very concerning. And so we're looking at the influence of social media and that people younger and younger have social media. Like I was speaking to 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, you know, the majority of middle schoolers have social media. What are they watching? What is influencing them? Which that's what they're called, influencers. And it's influencing how people think. Also influencing how you feel, like what your capacity is. People speaking so much about how they're being impacted by something, and then, you know, talking openly about suicide pacts, suicide plans, and again, getting away from this emotional capacity that we can handle everything. I think when we think about our youth today also, you know, being influenced by drugs and alcohol, things happening in the home, you know, parents needing to work a lot and maybe not being as present. You know, we have the iPad and TV, and you used to be only a few TVs in the house.
Yes. Or one.
Or one TV where you would know what someone is consuming, what someone is being influenced by. Yeah. The same thing with a phone. You know, I had a house phone. I had to learn how to speak to adults through calling a house phone and having to speak to the adult to speak to a child. My family, you know, my mom liked to monitor the calls and to know who I was speaking to, and what we were talking about. And, you know, now we don't have that if someone has a phone. And if, you know, the iPad oftentimes is used as a babysitter because parents are busy, you know, like I have my recommendations on what to do with screen time, but also families are very busy. And so I can understand why they need a break. You know, I'm divorced and I only have my children 50% of the time, and I still need that break. And it still feels overwhelming as a parent having them 50% of the time. So I can understand why parents do what they do. But there's a lot of pressure on kids right now, and especially with, you know, lack of jobs, you know, the world changing with AI and tech. So there is this pressure on kids, and you know, I think that breaking the stigma of mental health and being able to talk about it more is really healthy and positive. But it's also, how do we talk about it? That we can be struggling with our mental health and knowing we can handle it. Knowing that no matter what you're going through, you can handle it all. And we were given these tools inside of us by God. We all have the tools to be able to handle it, but some of us don't know how to access them as well as other people. And that's when we need therapy or the guidance counselor, emotional regulation, skill building, to be able to access those tools. And you know, but it's possible, and we have them already inside of us. We can handle it. Life is hard, you know. Mm-hmm. Life is uncomfortable, and we're meant, though, to sit in that discomfort. We grow and learn by sitting in that discomfort and knowing that we're good.
And going through it.
I have on our exit door at Infinite Mindcare offices, I have the only way out is through.
Oh, I like that.
Right? The only way out is through. You can't avoid. The more that you avoid something, the harder it becomes, because it will always be there. Right? It's like I was speaking to someone about building emotional capacity and how we, you know, process things from our past, and, you know, how we communicate with our loved ones when there's a problem. And she said to me, Sutton, I'm not a person of depth. That I don't want to talk about those things. I don't want to deal. I want to push them under the rug. And she said that to me, which I I loved that she could be so honest with me, but she said, I just need to push them down because if I deal with them right now, I'm going to get too upset. And I know.
That's like me right now.
I know. Yes. And that's so many people. And the reality is that we have to have that feeling. We have to grieve. You know, we have to cry. That it's okay. and what we were talking about is if you're someone though who's going through it so much that the crying, the grieving is really impacting your everyday, it's lasting too long, it's impacting how you're able to function throughout the day, that's when we need to go, talk to a doctor, maybe get on medication, talk to a therapist. But the reality is if we don't face those things, they're going to come out in other ways. And that's the idea of we all have mental health and how do we take care of our mental health.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are going to come out in other ways, and especially when it like physical illness in your body and disease.
Absolutely.
I can't say the word.
Immunization.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Immunization. Compromised bodies per se.
Yeah.
That can happen. Thank you. Well, I couldn't get that out.
It's going to come out in other ways. And I remember speaking to a psychiatrist a few years ago in regards to someone that we were concerned about. And she said, if this person dealt with that trauma, they're going to have an outburst in their life. They're not going to be able to function in their daily life. So it's better that they don't deal with it. And I have a different way of thinking that, certainly when we think of counseling or when we think of, emotional regulation training or how we work with kids at a young age to build strong mental health, it's having that emotional capacity of first knowing that before we talk about anything from the past or future or, how we manage our mental health, we have to know that we can handle it, that we are capable, that it is possible. And we do that in little ways, little practices, sitting with discomfort for a little while. Someone who is afraid of snakes, who might not necessarily have a full-blown phobia, but they're a little afraid of snakes. So what do? We watch a little bit, we watch maybe some YouTube videos of it. We look at some pictures of it. We sit in that discomfort. We notice that icky, sticky feeling of what happens when we see a snake. And then maybe you push yourself a little bit further. You go to East End and I can't think of the parrot sanctuary where you can see the little baby snakes and you can go and it's, organized, and then you go look at the snake from a distance. So you build up that capacity to sit with that discomfort in your body. You're someone who doesn't like heights. Maybe you go to Cayman Bay and, you look at the tower. Then, you walk up some steps. Then you get to the first floor, you go to the balcony, you look over. You're building capacity to sit in discomfort. You choose to notice the sensations that come up in your body when you are feeling uncomfortable. And you sit with them, knowing you're fine. You're on the first, second floor of the tower. You're okay. You're not going to fall. And you just sit in that feeling of discomfort and see how your body plays a little bit of tricks on you. It's trying to protect you. Your body is wired to, be hypervigilant, to look out for that threat, to keep you safe. But sometimes that hypervigilance comes in ways that is not helping you. It's hurting you in your life.
You said a lot of great things there. I understand about building capacity, and I can see it. And another hand, I also see that somebody could have gone through something super traumatic, and that fear again, whether it could have been being assaulted or robbed, anything like that. And then that's a whole different fear, that you're living with.
Sure.
And that you can't, how do you build capacity necessarily when it comes to something a lot more traumatic?
Oof. So, and especially when we talk about complex childhood trauma, things that happen when you're a kid, one is what I was saying too, when it seems like it's too hard to do these little practices, and when something comes up and you're faced with that threat or that the thing that happened in the past is still impacting you today in such a way that you feel like you can't face it or you can't, that's when we get support. Those things can be addressed in therapy, in a safe place with someone who is trained to work on those things, and with someone that you feel safe enough and that you can connect to for those things. We don't just jump into that day one.
Okay.
Right? We build capacity to get there so that you see it's possible. It still might be very uncomfortable, right? We're not going to like it, but it's like, okay, I can see the benefit for doing it. And to know that our experiences, there's nothing that will right those wrongs. There's nothing, we can't justify them. That is horrible. That should have never happened to you. That is unfair, right? And we don't have to have those things impact every single day for the rest of our life, right? That load, we need to be able to let go of that load a little bit. It's still there with us, but it doesn't have to be so heavy. And that takes time and practice, but it is possible. And I encourage you to, if you know that it's there, that, there are things that you can do to start lessening that load so that it doesn't have to impact you in every area of your life.
Right. But like your card says, to go through it, right? What's
that
card reminder again?
The only way out is through.
Yeah.
Right? The only way out is through. That we can't go around, we can't go under, we can't just gonna keep hitting it. The only way out is through, and it's through just learning how to sit with that, those icky feelings, the discomfort. Now, sometimes that discomfort is actually protecting you, right? I always say, if someone is forcing you to drink alcohol, or they want you to get in the car and they're drinking, or they're offering you some illegal substances that could hurt you, whatever, they're gonna go fight, there's a gang, whatever it might be, your body is protecting you, and there's these signals that will be going off to prevent you from doing that. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about sitting with discomfort when there is no threat. It feels like there is a threat, but there's actually no threat. Not in this moment. Right?
Okay, we got to go to our last commercial break. Great conversation so far, but our last commercial break, and then we'll be back to wrap the discussion.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The 7:20 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Credit Union, on the road to 50 years of serving our members. Visit creditunion.ky to join today.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is this month in May. And from Infinite Mindcare, I have founder Sutton Burke in studio with me, and therapist as well. And Sutton was giving us a whole lot of great information, especially about don't just sit in something, but go through it, right? Now, on that note, I want to say on the weekend, Elaine Thompson-Herah, who is an Olympian, a Jamaican sprinter, she is what I call the fastest woman alive today. The athletics has some weird thing that if she didn't run the fastest time this year or something, she's not considered. She ran the fastest. She's the fastest woman alive, period, right now. Okay. That's it. So she took a little bit of break from track, and it was devastating to see because she was on top of her game, on top of the world, about to break the world record in the 100-meter sprints. She was 0.0 seconds away from that. Now, in saying that, she's just come back after about a 2 to 3 year hiatus. She's come back and she raced on the weekend and she won gold. She anchored a 4x100 with the women's relay team for Jamaica, anchored it, won gold. I thought she did great. But after she won, she did an interview. And in this interview, she did note that, yeah, she was having some struggles in the past few years. She just had to get her kind of mind back into place. And she did say, in summary, this is on TV, which was broadcast everywhere globally, Jamaicans don't go to therapy. Therapy wasn't a route for her. She wasn't going to go to therapy. She was just going to somehow deal with it some way. And Jamaicans don't deal with therapy. And I thought that was incredibly damaging to say. I understand that that's her reality and her truth. But somebody of her position that people are looking up to, how that could then influence them to be like, well, I am Jamaican, or, you know, I look up to her and I don't need to do this either.
Sure. That makes me sad to think. Certainly, there are ways of building that capacity of, you know, managing your struggles and your mental health without going to therapy, right? Therapy is not the end all be all. I think it can be extremely effective. It can be very helpful, can be life-changing. We know the statistics that therapy coupled with medication has a huge impact on different mental health disorders. And it's not for everybody. Not everyone is going to go. Not everyone, you know, they have their different path. And I don't know what hers was and where she's at, what it was like for her before, where she's at now, and what's really happening for her. Is she just, you know, in go mode, or did she process and, you know, and yeah, it's sad because some people are going to hear that and use it as the excuse.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to trigger their shame. Right? Of, oh, wow, I'm going to therapy. That must be, I'm bad. You know, something's wrong with me if I have to. So I guess she did. Now, is that her fault? She's not responsible for how people take what she says. You know, she's a human just like everybody else. You know, I have this conversation with my children all the time. Just because someone is an incredibly gifted athlete or musician or actor, actress, we don't know them. They're not perfect. You know, we just watched the Michael Jackson movie over the weekend. This is a very complex issue because I love Michael and it's a complex story and how we relate to it. So yeah, I see it as really sad, and I wish it would have been different. I wish there could have been a different conversation. But, you know, I think as we have to do what's best for ourselves. And so for those listeners who heard that and who kind of hear that stigma, you know, as Jamaicans don't do that, or, you know, Caymanians don't do it. It's not common for, it wasn't common for Caymanians either. Right. That we deal with things. We don't share our business. You know, we don't put our stuff on the road. Right. We keep it in the house. And, you know, unfortunately, that was a very hard stigma for people to break. And I hope that whoever's listening just does what's best for them. Right? We have to do what's best for ourselves. Why am I going to let someone I don't know and the perception of the society, you know, hinder me from getting the help that I need? You know, I look at people who go to counseling as so brave. Like you're willing to look at yourself. You're willing to sit in that discomfort. So many people don't want to sit with it. I was saying the conversation I had with my friend who said, no, I do not want to deal with it. Absolutely not. I don't want to sit with my feelings in that way because that's hard. That's uncomfortable. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. But that's life.
Now, this is your friend. So what's not somebody you're, you know, giving therapy services to.
Yeah.
So what's your, I guess, reaction to that? Is just like, okay, I'm just going to listen to my friend, or are you going to try to encourage?
Oh, I was trying. You know, of course, I'm sending my friends chapters in my book right now for them to give me feedback. And so that's what she's done. And that's I intentionally sent it to her to see what would it, you know, would bring up in her. And we have a little laugh. We have a laugh at it. And, you know, I ask her how that's working for her. You know, how is that really working out? And she says it's not. She has a lot of insight. It's not really working. I have hope. You know, and that's what I just say. I have hope for you. And I'm always here for you when you want to have more conversations of depth.
Yeah.
Right. This is a very long-term friend I have, and someone that I'm not the closest with in my life right now, because all of my friendships, all the people in my life currently who I'm very close with, we do have that connection, that we have a deeper connection where we can talk about these things. It's so important for me to be able to have these kind of conversations with my friends where we do address these things. And the people that I keep very close to me are people who have that self-introspection and who want to walk through it, even when it's hard.
I love that. Well, that's who you are in your heart. That's what you want out of your friendships and connections. Which
absolutely, and that's not for everybody,
right?
And I get it, and I just as a friend I encourage it, and say that I have hope.
Yeah, good.
No judgment.
It's better to have hope than have nothing.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I'm sure she has some hope too, that when she's ready, she'll, hopefully address it when she's ready.
When she's ready. And that's the thing. You can't force anybody who's not ready. I get this question all the time, especially from HR directors and managers. We do a lot of corporate work. I advise a lot of HR directors on island and sit with them on how do they support their employees. And so often we get calls with, I'm really concerned about this person. They're really struggling. And we've brought them in the office and we've talked to them and we've tried to encourage them to go to counseling. You can't force anybody to go to counseling. Certainly there can be some kind of incident and you can mandate it, and it can be part of, probation, and, they have to sign off on going, and it can be part of them keeping their job or not keeping their job. But sometimes people don't want to, they don't want to get to that point in, as a manager, as a director. And so it's like, how do we inspire this person to want to get that help? And we think about it in ways of like, if pre-contemplation to contemplation, like if they don't see it as a problem, we can't force it. We can't I can't force you to have insight.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
It comes on your own. And that's, for parents who see their kids struggling with addiction, same kind of thing. If they're not ready for it yet, nothing you're going to do is going to help. So we can just love them, love them from a distance, support them without judgment, of course, within boundaries, because regardless of what somebody is experiencing, this is part of society, when they have a job or they're their family, we all have responsibilities. Just because you're struggling with your mental health doesn't mean that you can be a not nice person to me.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. I feel you on that one. Something I'm struggling with sometimes.
It's hard, and it will have its consequences, right?
We got to wrap, Sutton.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just past the 9 a.m. headline news. I'm so sorry. There's a bunch of things I want to ask you more. This conversation could keep going by far.
Yeah.
Especially we're just like really starting to get into the flow of the conversation per se. So I hate to end it, but I got to end it.
Yeah, I'm always here.
Thank you for coming by. If people want to get in touch with you, just let them know the contact.
InfiniteMindCare.com. You like us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Infinite Mindcare. I'm at Sutton Burke Official on Instagram. You can contact me directly. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. It was great to have you, and we'll look to have this conversation again.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us on The Buzz today, and I'm going to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. After that, we're going to hear about the Caymanians First Foundation.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Updated projections on inflation in the Cayman Islands more than double in the face of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. In Parliament, the finance minister announced the latest projection for 2026 is higher than the 2.6 initially shown in the plan and estimates, with inflation now expected to rise to approximately 5.3% this year before easing to 4.1% in 2027. In international news, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, quote, is not over, despite the U.S. and Iran launching attacks in the Strait of Hormuz today. Hegseth also says Iran is attempting, quote, international extortion in the strait, but that ends with, quote, Project Freedom. And he claims there is a, quote, red, white, and blue dome over the waterway with the transit of 2 U.S. commercial ships today, proving it is clear. Earlier, Iran's top negotiator warned the U.S. that, quote, we are just getting started. Donald Trump's Project Freedom aims to use the U.S. military to guide stranded cargo ships out of the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran insists that it has control over the strait, and on Monday, fired missiles and drones at military and commercial ships. There are 22,000 mariners on more than 1,500 commercial vessels trapped in the Gulf. Those are your headlines. I'm Karlene Fuller.
more news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or belly fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And in this segment, we are talking about Caymanians' first charitable foundation. And I'm excited to have this talk because I've heard about it a couple weeks ago. There's been a lot of buzz around it, no pun intended. And I'm happy to welcome Jewel Hydes in the studio this morning to tell us all about Caymanians' first charitable foundation. So good morning, Jewel. How are you doing?
Morning. Thank you guys for having me. And I'm looking forward to this conversation and sharing more about the Caymanians' first charitable foundation. So I hope your listeners are in tuned and ready to learn about an interesting foundation.
Thank you. Me too. I'm excited to learn as well. And just so our listeners know, we did connect just in that short little break about our nails. So she commented on my nails and I just said, I go see Maxine. For everybody who always asks me, I go see Maxine. She's on Eastern Avenue. She has a place called Maxine's. And Jewel's like, I go to her too. And I'm like, no, so this is how you know that good eye for detail and precision when it comes to art with nails. Yes. So I love that. That was that's awesome.
Yeah.
We have some good taste there.
Yeah.
So we're really here to talk about the Caymanian First Charitable Foundation. It's officially launched with a clear mission to empower Caymanians through practical skills and opportunity and long-term community support. It's founded by Don Seymour, which I was surprised to learn. Don, where you been? I feel like I haven't seen him in a long time. The foundation is built on the belief that a nation's greatest assets is its people. I completely agree with that. I say it all the time. And leading the initiative is yourself, CEO Jewel Hydes, who will oversee the delivery of measurable programs designed to support Caymanians at every stage of life.
Correct.
All right. So I guess let's get into it. How did you become aligned with the Caymanians First Foundation?
Well, I've always been an individual who gives to the community and is always looking out for Caymanians, whether it's helping them get employment, helping them with their resumes, training them on customer service, volunteering in church, volunteering at the drug rehab. So I've always been involved in my community. And about 6 or 7 months ago, Don reached out to me and he said, I think you would be perfect to be the CEO of this foundation that I want to start, because I know it was always something he wanted to do, but because of timing and so forth, it didn't get off the ground when he ideally wanted. But when he reached out to me and told me about it and shared what the goals were, it was just simply a perfect alignment with what I normally do for the community.
Okay, so that's how it all worked out. I like that.
Yeah.
The foundation has 5 key focus areas. Can you tell us what they are?
Well, one is education. Obviously, that is, we have our Skills for Success scholarship. We'll get more into that. We have relief of poverty. That is where individuals who may be going through some financial struggles, we will look into the situation, and if we can help, we certainly will do that. However, we want to, before we assist, we want to know what is really causing the issue. Is it the lack of a job, or is it lack of money management? Once we can understand what the issue is, we're not only going to help you, but we're going to provide those building blocks so you don't find yourself every month requiring assistance from someone. We also have culture. So, culture is very big in the Cayman Islands. So that's one of the pillars. We have sports. That speaks for itself. We have, football, basketball, cricket, all of those good things. So we are very proud of the activities that we are aligning ourselves with. And I just encourage anyone, if any of these topics align with you, please reach out, and we will be more than happy to see how we can assist with your initiative.
Okay, I like it. Now, it's interesting to me that it's Mr. Don Seymour behind this, and
Yes.
especially when you're looking at some of the key focus areas.
Yes.
He was big in sports. He was
Yes.
big in football.
Yes.
And I had no idea when he
Yes.
told me how skilled he was. I was
Yes.
like, no way.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Yes.
I don't know why I was so blown away by it, but
Yes.
I was.
Yes, he made a joke the other day actually when because I went to Academy Sports Club to meet the young women and young men there, just to talk to them and get to know them and share with them about our Skills for Success scholarship. And when I sent him the video with me doing the warm-ups with them, he said, "Oh, I didn't know you had skills like that." I'm like, "Yeah, they're rusty, but I do." Because I used to be very athletic when I was younger. So it was kind of brought back a lot of memories just going out there and kicking some ball with the kids.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I still think I'm super athletic. I mean, I like to think I am.
Yes,
so I
yes,
get it.
me too.
I get it. Okay, now we know what the Charitable Foundation is about, and
Yes.
we know what inspired the creation of this foundation. But why do you think right now was the right time to launch an initiative like this?
Yeah.
As I Don, because you did say that.
Yeah.
He said before it wasn't the time.
Yes, like he just before he's had this idea for a while, and by him being so involved in his work as well, it just never materialized at that time. And so late last year, 6-7 months ago, he reached out to me, and I think we both agreed that this was the perfect timing because we know the economy of Cayman. A lot of individuals are having a very hard and difficult time. And there are also Caymanians who are feeling that they have been left out of this dream that we call Cayman. So with those moving parts, we just felt that if we brought this foundation now, it could do so much to impact young Caymanians who are feeling left out of the dream. Caymanians who just want an opportunity to be successful, because there's no doubt in my mind that there isn't one Caymanian that just sits down and says, "Oh, I'm just going to rely on the government," or "I'm just going to keep asking people for money." No, they want to be successful. They want to own their own businesses. They want to have savings. They want to have security for their families. But they're just not given the opportunity some of those times because of maybe something that happened in the past, or, just with the politics of things. It hasn't materialized and hasn't reached them as yet. That dream hasn't reached them. So we thought bringing this foundation at this time was an ideal moment. And that is why we chose the name Caymanians First. Because we don't give any apology for saying Caymanians first.
Mm-hmm. Well, you shouldn't. It's your own country.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
When you're talking about the Cayman dream, what is the Cayman dream?
Well, like I said, the Cayman dream is Caymanians want to own their own businesses. They want to be educated. And educated doesn't mean holding a bachelor's degree. That could be a technical skill, because plumbers, AC people, carpenters, AI specialists, they make a lot of money. So it doesn't have to be a bachelor's and you go to work in a bank or you go and work in an offshore company. So that is the Cayman dream. They want to be able to protect their family, have security for their family. They want to break those generational barriers that are happening currently.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'd have to agree on that. We're going to go to our first commercial break right now, and when we come back, we're going to get more into the mission and core focus areas.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The Cayman Islands Department of Tourism invites you to the 2026 Tourism Speak-Off on Wednesday, May 6 at Hotel Indigo from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Join us in supporting 4 brilliant young Caymanians as they compete in a tourism-themed debate to become the 2026 Tourism Ambassador and win incredible prizes. Contact us at competition@caymanislands.ky for more information on the event. Let's cheer on our Caymanian youth.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
For 50 years, Radio Cayman has been the heartbeat of our islands, bringing you the news, the music, and those moments that matter most and more.
From the vinyl days to the digital way.
And now, it's time to celebrate you. This Thursday and Friday, we're giving away exciting prizes on air as we continue to mark 50 years strong. Tune in, listen out for your cue, and you could be walking away with something special just for being a part of our journey. Thank you, Cayman Islands, for 50 incredible years. Radio Cayman, yesterday, today, and the next 50.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking about the Caymanians' first charitable foundation with CEO Jewel Hydes. Now, Jewel, right before the break, told us what the Cayman Dream is and how the foundation is really trying to assist people who want to achieve that dream. And she had mentioned something about education as well, and that is one of the focus areas, one of the 5 focus areas under the Caymanians' first charitable foundation. But I have a question about education here, because in Cayman, if you're a youth or up to, I think, the age of 25, the opportunity for scholarships here is pretty amazing. Almost anybody with a somewhat even of an average grade point average in school can get a scholarship, and I think that's phenomenal. But again, it stops at a certain age. And we know most of us, we might change our careers 3 to 4 times in our lives, and it doesn't, 25 is not the, okay, that's it.
Yes.
You can't make any more changes. Like these changes happen later on. Yes. But I feel like there's not enough support for adults who might have come from a troubled background and they didn't go to university right out of high school. Maybe they were locked up for a bit. Maybe they just went down a wrong path. Maybe they just couldn't afford to at that time with their family and what opportunities are available. So when it comes to that age group, 25 and higher, adults that want to increase their education, how do you help them?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Kathy, because that is what our Skills to Success scholarship program is all about. There is no age limit.
Oh, nice.
So we are catering for the youth and also for older adults in the community. Like you say, there may be someone who was redundant in a post and they may decide they want to reskill themselves. They can apply for that scholarship. I'm actually talking to an older lady right now, as we speak, about a career in IT. She wants to go to the community UCCI to actually do more from an IT perspective. And she was made redundant. Never did IT before, but she sees the importance of it from her previous job and what's happening now with AI and so forth. And she wants to learn more about that. So I'm actually working with her to see how we can assist her. And she's in her 50s. So we go from young to the older population. And as a matter of fact, just to mention, a week ago, we awarded our very first scholarship to a Caymanian young man who is overseas. He was having some financial difficulties, and we awarded him that scholarship. His name is Ajani, very talented young man. I think we're going to see him play football or soccer, as they call it over there, with a very good team in the near future.
Ooh.
We turned that scholarship around in 24 hours. That is how important, I should say, Caymanians and their welfare is to this foundation. We will work weekends to do what we have to do. We will burn the midnight oil to get Caymanians sorted so that they can take advantage of these tools that the foundation is providing.
Since the foundation launched, what kind of requests are you getting?
Oh, we're getting quite a bit. We're getting some for mental health. We're getting some for programs that the Sunrise Institute is doing. I spoke to a lady the other day. She is having accommodation for adults that attend the Sunrise so that they can live on their own and they can be provided with coaching and so forth. I spoke with her. She wanted to find out if we could assist with that because she's planning on expanding that program. And I find that very exciting because it teaches them to be more responsible, teaches them to think more on their own. We have for scholarships, I have 2 more scholarship applications that I have to review that I just received. One is for a young man who wants to finish being a certified pilot. So I have to look at that. They're just requests for assistance. Like there was a young lady who knew her daughter couldn't be eligible, I should say. She couldn't be eligible for the LOE's cash accounts, but she wanted some advice on how she could do something to set her daughter up in the future. So we are getting all types of requests, and we're not turning them down. If it's just advice, we will give advice. So we're getting a lot of responses.
Now, a question came in via WhatsApp saying, ask if somebody 70 years old can apply for like an accounting scholarship or assistance to learn accounting.
If that person that is 70 is in their good, sound, sane mind, and they feel like they can handle the courses to do with accounting, I certainly recommend them to apply because the board will not turn that down.
Okay, awesome.
The board will not turn that down.
That's great. Another question came in saying, good morning, Kathy. I wish that your guest could incorporate education on ways Caymanian families can retain their family land and avoid selling. We don't know that you're not doing that or offering kind of any consulting regarding that, but I guess that might be a big thing about Caymanian families selling their land. So is that something that's come by you?
Well, it's not something that we're doing right now, but we are working and trying to develop more partnerships with more nonprofits that we can do those sort of initiatives like education, training, things on sports. So we might not be doing it ourselves. We're more or less partnering with individuals that can offer that service, because we don't believe in duplications. We don't believe in duplications. If we thought that, for example, if we thought that the scholarships were sufficient in Cayman, we wouldn't be offering scholarships. But we believe there is a lag in what's going on. Cayman has a need for certain positions. They need carpenters, they need steel workers, they need AC workers, they need more business owners. We don't see that type of scholarship being offered too often. It's often the bachelors, the masters, the associates. We want to focus a lot on skills, technical training. But if there is a situation where a person is away doing their bachelor's and the family gets into a financial situation, we will help. We will help. But we want to close that gap, because we want the Cayman workforce has certain needs. We can see that by the permits that are going in. So we want to offer scholarships to Caymanians so that we can close that gap, that Caymanians can have their own businesses, establish themselves, and create security for their families.
Okay. And it is going to take a lot more than just, as you said, that the scholarships, it'll be other partnering with other agencies and organizations to help people just kind of level up in life.
Yes, correct.
That need that kind of guidance.
And we're not just going to offer you the scholarship and then leave you alone. No, we're going to create a pathway that if you want to open your business, we can give you advice on how to do that. Or if you want to seek employment with a company, we will have partners that we can connect you with, that they can offer you a job. There's no point in us sending you to do a scholarship, completing that training, and then when you come back, there's nothing here for you to do.
Right.
So that's why it's important to understand the workforce needs, so that when someone applies for a scholarship, then we can say, yes, this definitely is what's needed in Cayman. And just for your viewers, we are affiliating ourselves with Miami-Dade Community College. So we're willing to send persons over there. Miami-Dade is rated number 4 in colleges. So it's a very highly successful and accredited institution. So you will be getting first class education when you go there. But we can appreciate that there are some individuals that may not be able to leave the island. They have families, they have commitments. So we are not closing the doors. If you want to go to UCCI, or if there is another institution on the island that provides the training you want, once it's an accredited institution and an accredited course, we would be willing to pay for that locally as well.
Well, that's awesome. You guys are doing some great things. And you just launched, so you're...
Yes, it's busy times, but, it's very good times, because you feel so fulfilled that you're actually helping your people, the Caymanian people, and that's what we're all about.
Yes. Okay, so the board of directors, can you tell us who's on the board of directors, who makes up this foundation?
Sure. It's Mr. Seymour, Don Seymour. He is the founder and also a director. We have Mr. Richard Barton, who is the chairman of the board. And then we have Miss Edlyn Keynes, who is a director as well. And then myself, I am the CEO and supervisor of the foundation. So that is the board makeup for now.
That's a good board. I rarely do I know every single person on the board.
Yes.
But right
yes.
there. Richie actually used to be one of our first hosts of the Buzz, the Business Buzz, when it started a long time ago.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah, we like to pull that
little
little notation out on him once in a while.
Okay, I'm
but
going to have to ask him about that.
Yeah, he was part of the Radio Cayman family for a minute there.
But it's a great board. And I mean, we're all passionate about Cayman, and we're all passionate about helping our people.
In this first year here, what do you hope that your biggest impact will be within your first kind of year of operation? What would you like to see?
I would like to see tons of scholarships given out and completed, because like I say, we're looking more for the skills-based training at first. And I would also like to see tons of LOEs cash dispersed to individuals. And I'll just tell you a little bit about Eloise.
I don't know about this. Yes.
Okay, so that's one of our main programs. It's called Eloise Cash. It's named after Don's mother, Miss Eloise, and Don wanted to do this because his mother taught him when he was growing up that when you see someone working hard, that hard work should come with support, financial support, mental, all kind of support. So she did that for Don. And he says it on the website. He says it on our website. But Eloise Cash is similar to Trump accounts. I'm sure you've heard of Trump accounts that was created by the U.S. government.
I try to avoid everything about that person. Person is a euphemism. I try to avoid everything. Okay. But yeah, I've heard about the gold card or whatever. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Trump accounts, it has the Eloise Cash accounts has a similar concept.
Okay.
So Caymanian children that are born starting with this year, 2026, each Caymanian child that's born this year can apply to the foundation and receive 1,000 CI dollars that will be placed in an investment account for them. And when they reach the age of 18, they can withdraw funds if it's for educational purposes, if it's for starting their own business, if it's to do a deposit on a first-time house. At the age of 25, they can take all the monies out. No restrictions. The hope is we're starting it with 1,000, but the parents can keep putting in. The government, if they wish to contribute to that child's future, they can put in. So you can keep putting in, and this is going to be invested in S&P. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very safe. And the hopes is that the parents and others will keep putting in, that when the child reaches 18, there's a good amount of money in there for the child to have a great start to their future.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes. And we are so proud of the Eloise Cash Accounts program. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
And if it's going into the S&P, it's going to be a low-risk kind of investment to do.
Correct.
Over a long,
yes.
18 years or up to 25 years.
Yes. And it's going to be managed locally, not by the foundation, but by a regulated and licensed administrator. They're going to manage everything. So it's just so exciting. And, to date, I have not received, I've received one. I received one request for Eloise, but unfortunately, that individual wasn't eligible. So I just want to take this opportunity to let your listeners know, and all expectant parents, please go and visit our website, Caymaniansfirst.com, and apply for the Eloise Cash account. Once your bundle of joy is born in 2026, please apply. This will set your child up for a great future. This is what I was referring to about breaking generational barriers. Yeah. Because it's not often that somebody does this.
No, this is a brilliant idea and a very generous one as well.
It is.
Talk about pouring back into your community and people.
Very generous. And, that is Mr. Seymour. He is a very generous individual. And he saw what his mother did for him, because he will tell you the only opportunity he had was his mother. Mm-hmm. So he never forgot. He never forgot that. But he also never forgot his roots. Mm-hmm. And he knows the struggles that Caymanians have. He knows the lack of opportunities that Caymanians have. So he's been put in a position that he can now give back and try to break some of those generational barriers. And we are very excited about this.
I love it. Don Seymour is one of the most successful Caymanians to come around.
Yes.
And he never had a silver spoon in his mouth.
No, exactly.
And he is generous, and he has great ideas, and he has built huge global business. So
I had to ask him sometimes, I'm like, where do you come up with these ideas? Because I'm like he's just so way ahead. Yeah. He's like way ahead of his time. I I just love listening to him because he does so educated and experienced, and I learned so much from him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that about people. We
Yes.
can learn from each other. That's
Yes.
what we got to do. We got to wrap because we're over the show time. But it's been good to know this, especially that Eloise Fund. I love this idea. I think
Yes.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
For people that want to get in touch with you, learn more, how do they do so?
Yeah. Please go to our website, Caymaniansfirst.com. There's an area there where you can apply for the scholarship. You can apply for the Eloise program. If you are a community partner or a nonprofit, there's an area there for you to apply for a grant as well. If you just want to assist and volunteer, there's a Get Involved section. And thank you so much.
Of course, no problem. It was great to have you on.
Yes.
As usual, we could have taken this conversation a lot longer, especially with the last one too. So, time is, I hope Cabinet doesn't get any ideas and say, let's keep her on till 11. I cannot. I don't have the capacity right now. We did go a little bit over, but that's okay. We need to get the information out. Thank you so much, Jewel, for joining me on The Buzz this morning. And hopefully we'll have you back soon as well, because I'd love to see what the foundation's doing and how you're progressing and all the rest. So
Yes, I'd be happy to share that.
for everybody else out there, it's a short week for you, right? So enjoy Cinco de Mayo today. Don't forget, I gave you some hints. Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo falls on the same day. You know what to do for lunch or dinner. Treat yourself a little bit. Have a great Tuesday and a great rest of the week. I'll be back with you on Thursday. The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is